Hey everybody, Justin with AmericanMuscle.com here with my quick breakdown and dyno test of the K&N Fuel Injection Performance Kit, or FIPK intake, available for your 96 to 04 Mustang GT. In the world of aftermarket filtration, K&N obviously needs no introduction. They're one of the industry leaders in producing aftermarket intake systems and air filters and have been doing so for decades now. Chances are, if you can't decide on what intake to go for your 2-valve GT, you're not going to make a bad decision by going with a K&N. So the Fuel Injection Performance Kit intake, or FIPK for short, is going to be for the 4.6 owners out there who are looking for a relatively budget-friendly, no-nonsense intake from a name we all recognize. And let's be honest here, most of you 4.6 owners out there are looking for an intake that's going to make some power, and we're going to show you just how much power you can expect from the K&N here in a minute using our 98 GT behind me. So how is an aftermarket intake like the K&N here going to increase the power in your 2-valve GT? Well, for starters, you are going to be replacing that restrictive factory paper filter and sealed air box with a nice high-flowing intake, and more importantly, K&N's bread and butter here. Their high-flow, reusable air filter that is washable and reusable. Now, of course, this is nice because it is going to save you some money in the long run. Instead of having to replace your filter every so often, you can wash it, re-oil it, and be good to go. Besides the power improvements here, another great reason with going with an aftermarket cold air like the K&N is the improvement in underhood appearance. Now, in addition to that, you do get a little bit more sound from the engine, which of course is never a bad thing. Quickly breaking down the kit here, you will notice the simple yet understated black ABS plastic intake tube. Now, obviously, if you're going for a more flashy intake, the FIPK here in black might not be the intake for you. But if you are going for a simple yet understated look, well then again, this is your choice. In addition to that, we are looking at K&N's signature high-flow filter again, which is washable, is reusable, in addition to the mass airflow housing and all the couplers and hardware needed for the installation. Installing an aftermarket cold air intake system onto your Mustang is something easy enough for even the most novice mechanic out there to tackle. So for that reason alone, we're going to give this install a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the old difficulty meter. Now, because of this, you can expect to be making some horsepower in about an hour or less using basic hand tools, but as always, if you have any questions, reach out to us here at American Muscle. Now, a nice thing about this intake and a lot of the aftermarket cold airs available for your 2-valve 4.6 is that they do not require the use of a custom tune. However, you guys know us, we're still going to take this opportunity to upload our custom tune along with the K&N intake here to really maximize our gains. In addition to those peak horsepower numbers, you can also expect an increase in throttle response and drivability along with power throughout the entire power band. So now with the intake installed and the tune-up loaded, let's make another pull here with our 98 GT and see what those numbers are. So our baseline run using our 5-speed 98 GT gave us 185 horsepower and 252 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels. With the K&N and custom tune combination, the car is now making 206 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, making for a peak gain of 21 horsepower over those baseline numbers and gains of as much as 27 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque throughout the curve. In the world of aftermarket intakes for your Mustang, it's easy to get lost in the abundance of choices. So with that said, why not go with one of the leaders in aftermarket filtration and pick up an FIPK cold air from K&N for your GT right here at AmericanMuscle.com.